seated. For those of you that don't know me, I am the director of Family Ministries. So when Peter asked me if I wanted to do a sermon today, I thought, ooh, I get to get out of the children's classroom and I get to talk to adults. So those of you that are moms with little ones right now, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yes. Well, I was super excited to come do this until I saw today's gospel reading. And just in case you missed it because I took Jane's mic, let me just hit up on a few points that she said. If someone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the other. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Oh. And then, if that is not enough, it ends with, be perfect. You gotta be kidding me. I gotta preach on this today. Surely this way of life is impossible. I mean, do you know how angry the world is right now? Do you know how many enemies we all seem to have lately? All you have to do is look at Facebook for 5 minutes. Because in all honesty, even myself, there are some days when I'm a good and faithful servant and I pray, dear God, please give me patience. Help me understand those who make me angry. However, more recently, my prayer seems to go a little bit like this. Dear God, today, please help me not punch them. Come on, you know what I'm talking about. It's getting bad out there, folks. It's a mean world. And if we love our enemies, surely we will be taken advantage of. Because we are so justified in loving and hating our enemies. Look at what's going on in the world today. We have African Americans still suffering the effects of slavery. We have Hispanic Americans who are told to speak English only. We have refugees who cannot find safety and immigrants being threatened to be closed out by a wall. Women are not paid as much as men, and our LGBTQT friends feel their rights to be a true family might be stripped away. We are justified. And we have to march and we have to scream and we have to fight against these enemies. We are in the fight of our lives here on earth, and Jesus is calling us to love our enemies and to be perfect. And he makes it sound so easy. But does he really? Let's go back to the basics. Because I mostly work with children, I have this conversation many times. The Sermon on the Mount, we teach to children as young as nursery age. How do we love people that bother us or make us mad? Well, we say, put yourself in their shoes. This is great, and it gets us out of our egocentric stage where I hate you and I don't care about anything going on in your life. It gets us to understand other people's situations and that they bring different life experiences to the table. And it's a good start, but unfortunately, too many people stop there. Richard Rohr, a Catholic priest and inspirational speaker, talks often about love. He says, humans have a deep and legitimate need for identity. To develop a healthy ego, we must know we're special and find a place where we are loved and where we belong without needing to prove ourselves. This is our launch pad. Good parents do everything they can to validate and affirm their child's specialness, which ideally gives children the self-dignity and self-confidence to move beyond the need for outer sources of belonging and identity. But if we stop at this level, we do not come to higher levels of love or transformation. Being part of a superior group, ethnicity, or class, and having correct religious or moral beliefs often becomes a cover for remaining basically selfish and narcissistic. Such folks end up reenacting the first half of their life over and over again, perpetuating exclusion and violence to protect their small field of self. And unfortunately, many people never move beyond the need for more infilling and never get to the outpouring, which should be the natural result of a healthy ego. Basically, they never get to really love. As long as they remain in this self-enclosed position of all otherness, it's a threat to their specialness. They will need to prove and make sure that others do not belong so that they can hold the center stage. And they spend much of their whole life protecting their boundaries, which isn't much of a life. I know what you're thinking. Yep, that sounds just like my enemies. Surely that's what's causing them to act the way that they do. But remember, friends, Jesus wasn't preaching telling us how everyone else was supposed to be acting. This work today is our work. This work that we are talking about today happens here inside of these doors. But we're not doing special tool that differentiates us from the outside world. And that tool is the gospel. And the gospel and the words of Jesus Christ are beautiful and demanding and seemingly impossible, but they are the words that will invoke change in our lives. There are some things about love that we don't like to talk about. This week especially is a good reminder that love to the outside world looks very different than love within the Gospels. Outside love looks like stuffed pink monkeys, paper hearts. It smells like chocolate and fresh cut roses. It's glittery and it tastes so good. But here within the words of the gospel, we know love is hard. Love is vulnerable. Love is a balance. And somehow on the other side of that love coin is this icky thing called forgiveness. Love in the gospel hurts, and sometimes it's a hurt that hits you over and over and over again, especially when dealing with your enemy. That will turn the other cheek deal. Because if I'm being honest, no matter how much you love, how much love you decide to give, you have absolutely no control of the reaction of the person you are giving that love to. Sometimes it's well received and reciprocated, but sometimes it's rejected and called names and makes you feel shameful. And that kind of love hurts so much. It makes us want to fight back or run away and not even try. Love is uncomfortable. Love is messy. Love is so hard. So how do we get to this place where we can even begin to face gospel love? Jesus love. How do we face forgiveness? Maybe we figure it out here in this safe space together. Maybe we figure out how to move past that infilling of love and into that outpouring of love. Let's start by understanding our reaction to our enemies. There are two things that happen to people when they feel they are being attacked: fight or flight. I see this all the time in real life and in social media. We either fight back, we start calling people names, posting links to articles that prove our point, raising our voices, letting our blood pressure get way too high. Fight, 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 fight. And then there's flight. We hide from those attacking our beliefs. We make sure our paths do not ever cross. We ignore what's going on. We unfriend, unfollow, unfollow. But what if a small space exists between fight and flight? A space where we force ourselves to stop the reaction to our enemies, that infilling that feels so good, but it looks a lot like meanness and grudges, and it only is good for short term. What if we stop and pause in this space and do the work of finding love and forgiveness? A space where we sit and we be and we do our best to listen and understand, and then, it is so hard to stay here. It hurts so much here. Excuse me, I'm not making any progress right here. There is anguish, there is frustration, but you know what? That is morphine. And that is what progress feels like. Because remember, real love, Jesus' love, is messy and it's hard and it hurts. But you have to stay in that place. And you wrestle and you fight and you scream through what feels like a storm. And in the end, you are no longer the self that you were when you started. You realize you are a stripped down version of yourself. A version that quite honestly you probably don't like much. Because it's not the tough guy version that you present to the world. It's a self where people can see the real you and all of your inequities. It is often too boastful. It talks too much. It doesn't listen enough. It's a version that has impure thoughts and lies and cheats. It's a sinner who you worked so hard to hide from the outside world, and now you are being thrust upon the world before you. But there is beauty in this. There is beauty because this new self is a vulnerable and true self. And once you have stripped down yourself, you will have the ability to strip down your enemy as well. And with new eyes and an open heart, your enemy will no longer look like a monster. Your enemy will stand before you just as scared as you are of yourself. And it is in these moments that we are changed. And we realize that Jesus' Sermon on the Mount and his command to love our enemies is really just a gift to us. We realize that once we are all stripped down, we are all children of God. We are all invited to break bread together. We are all invited into this kingdom to love our neighbor, love our enemy, and love ourselves. And it is in these doors that we hold ourselves accountable for this. But that doesn't make us weak, because when Jesus spoke of the Sermon on the Mount, he was not a mushy Valentine version of love. He was an ornery, put the work in and do it kind of love. And this being perfect business that he talks about, it's not about making all the right choices in life, because God gives us grace over and over again. It's about loving as God has loved with every single breath he gives us. Be amazed. Be amazed at your capacity to love and forgive, because it's possible. We see it all the time. Survivors of violence forgive their tormentors. Black South Africans rebuild with their oppressors. Mother Teresa's of the world give of themselves selflessly. Look for these examples. Then work to be your own example, being faithful and knowing that with God all things are possible. And remember, love is hard. Love is vulnerable. Love is a balance. And love, the uncomfortable and messy and wrap your whole self up in a band-aid because it hurts so bad kind of love, that is what we are called to do.